Hello and welcome to another Get Found with Found webinar. I'm Michael Watkins and today we're going to talk about the secret of search success. I'm joined by a couple of expert panelists from Found Digital, and we're also joined by Adam, the Chief of Staff from Marin Software. Adam, welcome.
Thanks, it's a pleasure to be here.
Fantastic, it's great to have you. And today I've got Chris, Head of SEO Channel at Found Digital. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks, Michael. Good to be here.
Awesome. And Pei, Head of SEM Channel from Found Digital. Welcome, Pei.
Pleasure to be here.
So today it's all about the secret of search success, and we're going to go through technology, expertise, and a little bit of creativity. But first, a little bit about Found. Found heads our yellow business and is our bespoke digital marketing agency. Chris, talk to us a little bit about what you do at Found.
So as you mentioned before, I head up the SEO, so basically overseeing the strategy for any of the SEO campaigns that we run.
Cool. And you work very closely with Pei.
Most
Pei,
definitely do.
What does your day-to-day look like at Found?
As you've mentioned, I head up the paid search channel. I manage a team of paid search experts really focusing on digital strategy to drive growth for our clients.
Cool. And at Found, as part of the Yellow Group, we love to leverage the platforms and our partners, which is why we've got Adam here today. Adam, let's have a little bit of a chat about Marin Software. Found are proud to partner with Marin for search success. Can you explain a little bit about what Marin is famous for?
Sure. Marin is the leading cross-channel performance marketing platform. Our goal is to connect performance-based marketing channels. Those would be Google, Facebook, Bing, Amazon, into an integrated platform and help performance marketers make smarter decisions about where they invest their advertising dollars and help them drive revenue.
Great. And what sort of businesses do you work with?
Sure. Marin has approximately 2,000 customers across relationships with agencies, both independent and the large network holding companies, as well as direct brands. We manage roughly $4 billion in annualized advertising spend on our platform.
Cool. So today, as I mentioned earlier, the next 30 minutes we want to talk about the secret of search success. But before we do that, let's go back and have a look at page one of Google and how that has evolved over the years. Chris, there's a lot of options on Google page one today. Which one do you think is most important?
I guess, Michael, the most important one is the one that people are looking at. So I don't really think that any individual section is more important than the other. You want to take as much real estate up as possible. So different people search in different ways. It's important to have a presence across all of them.
Cool, and let's look at some of the numbers around that different real estate and the different parts, because it's really interesting to me to see that when it comes to things like SEM, AdWords takes up 17% of the clicks, but there's a huge part of the piece there around traffic that goes direct to local businesses through Google Maps and through the business website itself, as well as aggregators like the Yellow Pages. Pei, one of the things that I'd like to talk to you about is when people say, I'm already doing well in some of those other areas on Google page one, what do you say to them from a paid search point of view?
Well, a lot of people say that, and to me, it's there's 2 points to make, right? First is about defensive positioning.
Yep.
So you might be ranking well, but your competitors might be ranking above you just because they have a paid search ad, right? And so that might, actually take away some of the users who are about to convert with your brand or your website. So that's the first point, having that defensive positioning. It also gives you more control over how your ads look. If you realize, organic results can come with a headline, 2 description lines. There might be some site links below, but not often. Google offers you more descriptions, more call to actions, like allowing users to directly call the business if you search on a mobile. So in a way, it's also better for branding because you can control how much real estate you are taking up on the Google search results page.
Okay, and it becomes very, very competitive with all of the different options. Chris, you've got Google My Business pages, you've got citations and aggregators, and you've got websites. When it comes to competition in general, Google themselves say they may have overcomplicated it. What would you give as a piece of advice to business owners when they're looking at the holistic search presence from an SEO point of view?
I think, as I said before, Michael, from an SEO point of view, you just want to be in front of people who are searching for products and services that you provide. If you're really looking to get a return on investment, it doesn't matter where that is. It doesn't matter where that traffic's come from. You just want to make sure that you have a presence in that area.
Cool. So, Pei, you use technology every day to help drive performance in search engine marketing. Tell us about some of the trends that you're seeing and experiencing.
Well, I think what we're seeing is the rise of machine learning, especially in the Google space. Things are increasingly being automated in the ad space.
Okay, and I suppose with this in mind, Adam, back to you. Why is it important for all businesses today to strongly consider leveraging technology to support their marketing efforts?
Great. The reason you want to do that is it allows you to make marketing decisions and bidding decisions about performance-based media based on the main metric that you care about, which is your revenue. By using a system like Marin, you can import your actual revenue and make optimized bidding decisions based on your key performance metrics and your source of truth data.
Okay, and other than revenue, when it comes to integrated search campaigns, what are some of the must-haves to maximize return?
I think one of the no-brainers out there is phone call tracking. If you're not tracking phone calls and you're not optimizing your online marketing based on calls coming into your store or to your call center, I think you're missing a big opportunity.
So one of the big shifts is towards voice. Chris, how is the changes to voice having an effect on what you do with search engine optimization?
Well, I think the graphic that we just showed is a good example, the near me search and location searches. That's generally what we find is people who are using voice are just saying, tell me a restaurant near me or tell me a restaurant in Box Hill or whatever particular suburb. So it's really important as a business that you have consistency with your name, address and phone number across the internet so Google can get a good idea of where you are physically located and deliver you to the people who are searching these ways. Another thing that I want to touch on in that area is that Yellow and Lion sort of comes into the mix here in that it's a trusted aggregator of local businesses. That's the way that Yellow and Lion works. You go to Yellow and Lion, you look for a business in a particular location, and Google are looking for credible sources of that information to return for those particular search results.
I suppose it's a lot about, there is limited real estate on the first page of Google, and that's where some of those aggregators come in. Last year was a big year for Google Home devices. Did you go and buy one?
I actually got one for a birthday present, and that was kind of what I was going to speak to next. That I'm even surprised myself the way that I find myself interacting with it. I'm saying please and thank you. I'm speaking to it like it's a
Very
friend.
polite, yes.
So yes, of course. So I think that what that leads to in terms of SEO and SEM is that people tend to be a lot more specific when they're using these voice-enabled devices, these smart devices. They're not really saying, me speaking to my Google Home, I'm not going to say, hey, Google, search shoes.
Yep.
I'm going to say something like, hey, Google, tell me about the latest Nike's men's Cortez runners or
So I was
something.
going to say, how does that come when you think of it from a search engine marketing point of view and ad copy and such? What is there a big difference to how you treat voice?
So it's exactly as Chris said. I guess what I would touch on is, we would need to change the targeting strategy. So the way we target keywords now is very structured. So we'll move into more of a conversational type terms that we would be looking into moving forward.
So we've seen a fundamental shift, especially from a marketing point of view, on really focusing on the metrics that matter for businesses and measuring the right things. Chris, from an SEO point of view, how do you deliver return on investment?
Well, I'll give you an example, Michael. We recently had a business, a freight business, who are based in Perth, and they were looking at getting some more traffic about sending various things from Perth down to Melbourne. So it's one thing, and this is the easiest thing, and the thing that a lot of people focus on in SEO is getting a presence in front of those customers, but that's only part of the battle. So what you really have to think about is not only just getting a presence in front of those potential customers, but what piece of content that can you create that's going to provide them some value and make them choose your business over any other business that provides those same products and services.
Okay, so that's where it is more than just the technology, it's also about the creativity around how you pull those pieces together. Adam, ROI is really important. What are the key must-haves from your point of view to ensure that you're having an effective search strategy?
That's a great question. I think the one thing that I would tell any digital advertiser, and particularly any performance-based digital advertiser, is to bring your own source of truth data and to bid off of the revenue data that's important to you.
Great. And Adam has a video which I'd like to show now, which sort of shows how Marin software can help provide some of those technology solutions.
Online marketing programs with thousands or even millions of ad units are challenging to optimize. Manual bid calculations are time-consuming and are not always statistically sound. Alternatively, black box algorithms lack visibility and flexibility. Marin's transparent bid and campaign optimization tools combine power and automation with an intuitive interface.
With so many ad units, how do I efficiently and effectively calculate, forecast, and assign bids?
Powerful, transparent, and easy to use, Marin's patented bidding algorithm optimizes bids to maximize revenue outcomes according to your business model. Forecasting identifies additional opportunities by highlighting the potential impact of bid goal adjustments.
Given the complexities of my conversion funnel, how do I attribute value for multi-event and multi-click conversions?
By assigning value to your conversion events and leveraging multi-click attribution, you can mold Marin's proven bidding algorithm around your business objectives.
To generate incremental improvements in account performance, how do I identify new opportunities and address gaps?
Leveraging proven methodology with best practice workflows, Marin Next uncovers new revenue opportunities and prioritizes tasks by impact, saving you time and improving performance. A cornerstone for revenue acquisition, Marin's patented bidding algorithm and campaign optimization tools consistently provide lift and maximize revenue outcomes for online marketers.
So it's one of those funny things that if I was to ask Chris what's better, he would say SEO, and if I was to ask Paige what's better, she'd say SEM. When it comes to SEO, what is the answer? What should you do first?
Well, it really depends on what your goals are. I think the most obvious difference between SEO and SEM is the timeframes involved. If you're starting from scratch, SEM is something that's going to get you those instant results, get your presence on the SERPs a lot earlier. SEO is going to take some more time, but it's kind of the gift that's going to keep on giving once you get there and maintain that presence.
And if you don't have to wait?
Look, generic keywords are hard to rank for. As Chris already mentioned, it might take 6 months or more, and you get less control over specific elements. You know, I can send traffic to specific products or specific pages that needs a push or has a higher profit margin. You know, but at the end of the day, it can be expensive just to rely on SEM as well. And so, you know.
And do you see it really being a play to your strengths? You mentioned traffic before, and you know, one of the success metrics, of course, with SEO is traffic. But how do you overcome some of the gaps in data that SEM does provide?
Well, I mean, you don't overcome them. That's why it's really good to have both of these channels, that we can use the data from an SEM campaign to inform some of the decisions that we make within our SEO campaign.
Cool. I might just bring up on screen now, when we talk about competition and dominating the search results page, one of the things that amazes me still looking at it right now is from 2010 through today, the sheer shift in real estate and how, you know, Google's here to make money, and it is encroaching more and more into the share of voice of page one. What do you see in relation to those sort of trends, and how do you adapt when you talk about an integrated search campaign?
Well, from my point of view, as I said earlier, different people search in different ways. So no matter how much real estate one particular area takes up, I think there's certain people that are still going to go past the ads to check out the organic results. And if for the people that do that, you want to make sure that you have a presence there in front of them.
Yep. We definitely saw that with that earlier slide that we had, where really about 80% of the clicks happen not on the ads. From an ads point of view, mobile first is a huge thing. Do you see any potential advantages where SEM has over the top of SEO?
Well, definitely, because on a mobile, the screen is that small. We're definitely going to dominate the entire screen. And therefore, again, then it's about presence, about brand presence, and you really do want to dominate the search engine, the results page, basically.
So I think that might be some of the key here. When we talk about expertise of successful search strategy, it really comes down to getting multiple appearances on page one as part of the consumer journey. So looking about how Marin can support us with that technology. Adam, I might throw to you for a little bit here. Talk to us about how the technology can help improve the performance of a campaign.
Sure. So Marin has many automation elements. Some of our most famous are around our bidding algorithms. So we maintain multiple bidding algorithms within the Marin suite of products. Primarily, we have had a patented system that works on Bayesian blending to derive performance results. We have an algorithm that allows you to maintain position within the search engine results page, either on a daily average or within the hour you can maintain a position. We also have algorithms that use dynamic clustering, which will automatically compare results of keywords and use things like natural language processing to group keywords together, particularly long-tail keywords that might not have enough data to calculate an optimized bid on their own. But we can combine them in very smart ways to help understand what's the probability of a click coming from one of those long-tail terms, leading to a conversion, and then ultimately corresponding to what's that conversion worth to you. And those are the building blocks for a optimized bid.
Great. And attribution and reporting continue to be a huge pain point for not just digital marketers, but businesses across Australia here. What do you do with your technology to support attribution and reporting?
Great question. So I would look at those two separately. Marin has two solutions for handling attribution. The first is that Marin is an open system, and by that we have roughly 60 integrations which allow you to import data from a third party into Marin and use that data to drive an advertising decision. Many of those integrations are third-party attribution tools. So what Marin allows you to do is bring in attributed search data from one of those third parties and then use our algorithm based on that attributed conversion data.
Fantastic. And what would be an example of what you think would be some of that best practice data that you could integrate with the platform?
I mean, the most important attribution data that you can bring into Marin is the conversion. The ultimate conversion is what is key to you. If you do not have enough conversion volume, then you want to be looking at proxy events further up the funnel. But if you have sufficient conversion volume, that is what you should be optimizing off of.
And when it comes back to the complexity and the competition, how do you keep things simple?
Sure. So Marin has a very interesting feature called dimensions. And dimensions is akin to a label in AdWords. However, within Marin, you can utilize a dimension across any publisher that's linked into it. So for a very simple example would be for a e-commerce site that would be selling maybe dress shoes and gym shoes across Google Shopping, Bing Shopping, Facebook, and Amazon. With all of those publishers linked into Marin, we can apply a label of dress shoes and gym shoes to the appropriate campaigns, or even all the way down to the keyword level, and help you understand how your dress shoes or your gym shoes programs across all four of those publishers that I mentioned are performing.
Cool. So Chris, there's a lot of, even though we're talking simple, there's a lot of sophisticated stuff that can be happening here with leveraging the technology. But when it comes to long-tail keywords, Adam made a really interesting point. What is long-tail SEO? And from a day-to-day point of view, what do you do to leverage long-tail and why?
Yeah, I think long-tail is really important. And coming back to what we talked about before, where we get help from pieces of technology like Marin, is that it allows us to get better visibility of individual keywords and how the consumers are performing at a keyword level once they come through to the site, how do they engage, what's going to convert well, things of that nature. So it's important to have a presence across sort of every phase of the path to purchase that a consumer goes through, for that informational phase right through to when they're about to purchase the item. But I think one of the misnomers that we see is that in this example that we have on the screen, shoes has got the biggest search volume, so I want to come up number one for shoes. But what people don't think of is that as you move more into the longer tail, yes, there is a smaller search volume, but there's a far higher rate of conversion. So if you're looking at it from an ROI perspective, that area is very, very important to us. Another thing that we referenced earlier is voice search, and we're finding that the kind of searches that are coming out of voice tend to be more in that long tail area than the more generic sort of terms that we may have seen previously on desktop.
So just because the volume's there doesn't necessarily mean the conversion's there. It's an interesting
Correct.
trend. Adam, Chris just explained about the consumer behaviour changing on search. How has your platform changed over time when it comes to the differences in how people interact with search engine pages?
Sure. So Marin's technology has evolved from really being best-in-class search solution to a cross-channel platform encompassing not only our best-in-class search solution, but also performance social, as well as the emerging e-commerce players like Amazon.
Great. And so how are those changes, well, those two changes going to come together?
It's our belief that the search engines and the publishers will allow you to do more from their sites rather than navigating to your own owned website. We also know that more and more, and here in the U.S., it's roughly 50% of all product searches begin on Amazon. We know that people are searching and completing their purchases on Amazon, which is primarily a wholly owned experience. So we see the landscape changing a bit here in the U.S. particularly. If you're looking to buy, you're looking on Amazon. And we see that as another sort of tentpole advertiser. And we believe that the future is going to be between Facebook, Google, and Amazon.
Fantastic. Amazon really in Australia has been slow to arrive, and we see some changes happening, but do you see the way you would approach voice changing, or the way from a technique point of view we would change what we're doing?
From a Marin perspective, voice is interesting, but from my perspective personally, I don't see how voice essentially changes the way that you are going to manage paid search. The way that you actually interface with the UI will change, but how you actually bid and drive revenue based on search engine terms, I don't see a massive shift coming from voice.
Lovely. So let's now have a quick break while we take a look at one of the Found digital customers and how they're having success with search, and in particular, an integrated search campaign.
My name is Jamal Hakim. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Mari Stopes Australia, and the digital team reports directly into myself. As an organisation, we are a very lean organisation, a non-profit for-purpose organisation in Australia, and we're part of the global Mari Stopes International Group. In Australia, we deliver services for family planning, contraception, vasectomy, safe abortion, and other services through our quality accredited network. We are in 14 locations across the country, and it's very important for ensuring that access is available in Australia. When partnering with Found, we were looking for a partner who would really be a partner with Mari Stopes. We're a very lean organisation, and we're a small team delivering services across the country. We really do concentrate on how we can deliver better services to patients. So we concentrate on the work we do best, and that's the service we deliver. So we were looking for a partner that can really partner with us, collaborate, and work with us dynamically so that we're able to reach those patients. If you're about to embark on a digital marketing campaign or to put together something for digital marketing, first thing I would say is plan. Learn more about it, understand your target market. It's all the normal things. It's nothing different just because it's digital, but talk to the experts and talk to your team internally, talk to your team at Found, and just understand what you're trying to do, who you're trying to target, how you're going to measure it, and also what your budget is. Because you can throw a lot of money at it, but what you need to understand is how much resourcing you've got and what would you like to achieve ultimately. I would not hesitate to recommend working with Found. It's been really good working with Found, and through the collaborations we've done together, the teams have grown and understood each other's much better. Found has now integrated into our workflows, into the way our team works, and really does dynamically move with us and change as our patient needs change as well across the country. Measurement of that lead generation is also really critical. So for us, working with Found is how do we measure that lead generation? How are we able to ensure that it does meet business and operational goals? Search is quite a complicated space, and if you don't get your search messaging right, it means you're not reaching your audience. You can throw a whole heap of money at it and it just goes nowhere. Since working with Found, we've been able to refine our search terms and work with geolocations so that we can target markets specifically depending on the needs of our patients. So this might be because of their socioeconomic position, it might be because of their location, or their preferences on how they access our services. So that's been terrific in the way that we have worked with Found in using search terms. Our search strategy is all about greater reach. We as an organization are about access to services, and we really work quite closely in order to ensure that more people are able to understand the services we deliver or are able to access the information around the health literacy that we deliver as well.
So it's great to see an example of how it's quite simply it can all come together, which is really promising. But we often talk about this war happening between the big four players, Facebook, Google, Amazon, and even Microsoft. Adam, I might throw to you for this one. When it comes to those big four players, especially in movements into marketplace, what do you see happening?
Right. So that war is definitely being waged, and I don't see that going away anytime soon. I think it creates a lot of complexity for the marketer. I think it also creates an opportunity for them to rise up above their competition if they deploy technology that allows them to see a holistic picture of how their campaigns are performing against those big four that are at war. I also think it allows an opportunity for them to bring in expertise, third-party expertise to help them. I don't think it's an entirely wise decision to make all of your strategy decisions on digital marketing based on advice that you're getting from one of those big four's representatives. They have a self-interest in driving their products, and they are not entirely the advocate or the ally of you. And I think there's a real opportunity for you to work with a trusted third party and to bring in strong technology solutions.
Great. And as they become more aggressive, chasing that revenue, how do you see them evolving into the future?
Sure. I think all of the major publishers are moving towards an audience-based strategy. Right message, right person, right time is what they're trying to solve for. I think naturally that comes into play with Facebook. Most of their ads are based on audiences, but you're starting to see this more and more with Google. You're starting to layer in this audience data. And what is an audience? I mean, the audience is your customer segmentation. So it really starts with you understanding your customers and understanding who buys, who doesn't buy, and who do you want to go after, and what do you want to pay to reach them.
That's great. And the future, whilst very complex, the cash registers that need to be ringing for our customers need to be ringing based on what's available today. So from a Found point of view, how do you keep it simple?
Mm-hmm. I think to start with, we want to learn about you. We know our business, we know how to run successful campaigns, but we want to know about your business. What are your goals? What are your objectives? Who are your target market? What sort of products and services are you looking to market?
Cool.
And then once that's done, we will take it in and we will collaborate closely with the different departments just to make sure that we create that very integrated, holistic digital strategy that the businesses need to grow.
Okay, so you're definitely not at war.
No, we're definitely on the same page, trying to deliver results for you.
Okay, fantastic. So from a final thoughts point of view, I think it's important for us to look at how marketers can leverage this data. So Adam, over to you. What would be that one piece of advice that you would give everyone who hasn't yet had success with search that you think everyone should be doing today?
Sure. I think it's important to work with an expert like Found because Marin is an enterprise piece of software. It can do a lot of things, and it does a lot of things well. but it takes an expert to know how to utilize it. And that's where we find partnering with agencies like Found is we get that support layer, we get users that really know how to push our technology, and we also help coach them on the technology. There's a 4-part certification that all of the Found users will go for. There's also continuing chat support that's available to them. Should they run into an issue, they have someone that's available via phone and chat. But really, an expert like Found puts you as a business owner in the best position to utilize a enterprise solution for your business.
Great, and thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for your insights.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be part of this.
I suppose, Chris, what would be that one thing from an SEO point of view that you think everyone who hasn't yet had success should be doing today?
I would say to utilise the information that you have available to you from your SEM campaign to inform some of the decisions that you make within your SEO.
Great. And Pei, your one piece of advice for everyone out there watching?
I think definitely let's get onto the machine learning train and leverage the technology to give you that edge.
Lovely. And I loved your points too about discovery, and I suppose that's what we want to do today is we would love to have a discovery conversation with you about how we can help you be more successful when it comes to search. And essentially the secret of search success is that combination of technology, expertise, but probably most importantly is the creativity that you apply to that technology. Thank you very much for joining us today. Make sure you register or reach out and we will send you the pack, and goodbye.